Absolutely. But that doesn't only apply for one student or to one student. Actually, all of my students, I remember when I was teaching at the conservatory, the students used to come in very shy, you know, almost like the head down, like a little puppy. And they're like, I want to sing, but I don't know if I can. And people tell me I don't have a good voice and all that. And I can tell you that after every lesson, every single one from every student, they came in like this and they just walked out like that, because singing is so much more than just producing sounds or communicating something with the audience. It has to do with the personal story. So in order for me to answer this question correctly, I would have to state you about 350 cases of students that achieved that transformation into a confident performer. However, I can tell you one of the stories who really marked, how should I say this? They made a mark in my vocal coach and in my career. I remember when I was doing my master's, because I did my master's during COVID time, and because it was COVID, I had to do exams online. And I remember that I had a final presentation for my master, and I knew this counts for grades. I had that live over Zoom with the experts. And I told them before I got in that exam, I told them, look, I have a student who is involved now in the Voice of Germany, and she needs to call me because I need to coach her. I didn't fly to Stuttgart and Berlin where she had her performances live on television. It's actually never live. It's always a little delayed. But I told them, I said, I need to be reachable for the student. And either I have to change the date of my exam or you will see me coach live. And they said, it's really hard to get a date. It was hard to get this date in. I don't understand to this day why, because it was COVID, but okay, everything was online. And so they said, no problem, just interrupt. And I told them I have my phone here and it is loud on loud. And I remember talking about something about the larynx and the functions for that exam. Sure thing, in the middle of my conversation, the phone rang and this one student called me. And she was really frantic. And I had to keep the speaker on because the jury and the experts wanted to see how I coach. And I remember telling the student, hey, by the way, because she didn't know, by the way, you are live in my exam. And she didn't even hear that. She was so frantic. And she told me I had to sing 8 times and I still have to sing about 8 times and my voice is gone and my da-da-da-da. She went on and on. And I remember kind of sweating because I had the expert in front of me and then her on the phone that I knew I wanted to get at least to the finals. And then I just asked her that one question. I said, you know what? If you don't want this, then why don't you pack up and go back home? Oh boy, did she not like to hear that. And she was yelling at me like, what the heck do you think? And we went so far and now you're telling me to go home. And I said, well, then get your act together and get back in there. Sure thing. She hung up, she went in there, and yes, she made it to the finals. But the point of this story is that the jury, they were laughing. They were like, wow, this was real coaching. And I had no idea. I wasn't prepared for this. So that was probably one of the transformations.